thoughts on the performance, and what were the key factors for you?
Well, I mean, firstly, credit to Southside and how they played, and I thought they did a great job of playing the game on their terms at their tempo, and were great in terms of their level of execution, both ends of the floor. From our perspective, it's a really disappointing loss. Probably up until that point. I mean, no loss is a good loss at all, but certainly big blowouts like that, they're not conducive of the amount of time and commitment that this group of players put on the floor on a day-to-day basis. And so to come out and have a loss with that sort of margin is really disappointing from our perspective, and that's completely on us. We need to be better. Whether we're shooting better from the foul line, which has obviously been an ongoing issue bar one game this season. Rewarding ourselves for the effort on the other end of the floor when we get wide open looks. It's a combination of one, you got to make them and continue to back yourself to shoot them when you get them. But we just had too many breakdowns defensively today. I mean, most people would probably look at the game knowing that the average scoring margin for every team was 84 points last season. You look at a team, give a team 76 and think you're pretty happy about that. But for us, I thought we broke down far too many times in areas that there was no surprise. And I don't mean this disrespectfully. Every team does their scout here in this league, so everyone knows what to expect to some extent. But I thought we really let ourselves down with particularly individual scout knowing what certain players do. Like we know Nadio's a phenomenal slasher and cutter and great at getting on the rim. Our first 11 points of the game are all on the rim and the paint. We've got to be better.
Kelsey, what's the mentality like amongst the girls? You yourself, you've been around this league quite a while, and you know what it's like. And as a leader, what do you tell them at halftime?
Yeah, well, half times you still have a half to play, right? So you try to get it within, single digits by the end of the third quarter, hopefully, and then make it in the ball game in the fourth. So, you can't win it in the first possession of the game. So you try to come out, execute down the stretch. And I thought we had some pretty good energy those first few possessions. But credit to Southside, they know what they're running, why they're running it, and who they want to run it for. And probably lulled us into some less than effective offenses, and I think we did get some good looks though. We did have some, we need to knock down shots. That's what great teams do, and that's where we want to be. But credit Southside, they came out and executed their game plan perfectly.
Pardon the pun, but how's the spirit around camp generally, even leading up to this game? How's everyone feeling? Are we still gelling, or is it just a matter of executing?
I think it's any great team that I've been on, you have to have continual improvement throughout a whole season. You want to be peaking at the right time. And I think gelling's part of it, figuring out, backing ourselves. I think having confidence. Kennedy spoke about the work that we did in preseason, being able to find confidence in the reps and the work that we've done and be able to go out and I think show that. I think that's probably what I would say is the more disappointing thing really in any game we've played this season is that what we're doing in practice isn't necessarily translating into games, and that's something as a leader of this group that I need to help us figure out how to do. But one thing I always tell my teams, with losses, and especially losses like this, you have to learn from them. You have to continually learn as the season goes on. Losses are only a bad thing if it's knocks you out of finals or it's the championship, right? So there are great learning opportunities in this, and also to feel it, to feel that disappointment, really let that sink in, so it's motivating for the next time. So, learning, I think that's the continual thing as the season goes on. We have to keep learning, we have to keep getting better, and so there's an opportunity here if we choose to accept it.
Actually, a great segue, Kennedy. What do you take away from this game and use that as preparation for your doubleheader next weekend? You've got Adelaide, who you've already beaten this season, and then back against Southside, but it will be on your turf if I'm not mistaken. So what do you take away from this game?
That game's in Geelong.
Oh, excuse me.
Geelong, and then we're home. So there's a lot to digest, if I'm being really honest, and probably an opportunity for me to go back tonight. And game's already cut up, so I've probably got to go through and do my due diligence and really try and dissect the game. I just think there are a lot of areas where we could improve from tonight's game, but I certainly think there are areas as a whole, as KG mentioned about continuous improvement. There are small wins we've certainly had week by week. To be honest, I'm probably, whatever three I choose are probably going to be the complete three opposite of what probably we need to work on. So for me, that's really going to be about going away and digesting that over video.
Last one, obviously it was a tough game tonight. Feel free to answer either of you. How are we feeling about just the dynamic, the brand of basketball that you're playing? The losses haven't been by much, and you've shown that you've been competitive this season. So are we still feeling good other than bar tonight?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. What I really appreciate about this group that I get to step out with is I never have to question their want, their desire, their work ethic. I think it's translating into what we know we can do on game day is the biggest gap at the moment. Because I see it week in and week out in training, and so I think it's being able to translate that on game day. And I almost think at times we care too much, and it's almost like we need to just let the game come to us and stop overthinking and just play. And I think credit Southside, that's exactly what they did tonight. They let the game come to them and just play, whereas I think sometimes we want it too bad. We almost care too much, which is a good thing to have as a captain. It's a good thing to have a group that wants to do the right thing so much that it actually hinders them. So I need to be able to figure out a way to help them relax, take a breath, and go out and execute like they know how to. But yeah, the league's great this year from top to bottom. It can be anyone's night on any night, and that's such a cliche thing to say. It hasn't always been that in the past. There's been a clear early on top four, bottom four, and it's just waiting for finals. So, credit the WNBL, credit the Australian talent coming through, attracting great WNBA players coming out. It's a really, really high quality brand of basketball, which is what you want, which is what's really exciting, why I love playing out here.
Thank you guys for your time.
Thanks.
Good luck for next round.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris and Charlotte. Appreciate it.